Adam here from ARB Overland, and for the next 3 days I'm going to be solo hiking and bivouacking in the Australian bush, taking in stunning vistas, camping in Devil's Cave, exploring historic buildings and travelling through otherworldly landscapes. Well, I'll throw this pack on and I'll make a move. For this trip, I'll be hiking a total distance of 19 kilometres, and I've decided to split the route into 3 sections. Today I'll cover 4 kilometres from the base of Mount Ida to the summit, where I'll bivvy for the night. Tomorrow I'll be hiking 12 kilometres, descending the side of the mountain, crossing over to Viewing Rock Lookout, and from there I'll make my way onwards to the ominously named Devil's Cave, and providing it's empty, I'll spend the night inside. And on the 3rd and final day, I'll cover the remaining 3 kilometres. I'll leave the cave, pass by an old powder magazine, walk through the town of Heathcote, and finish at the Pink Cliffs, where I've arranged to be picked up from. So it's early August at the moment, and although it's still winter, it's been unusually warm, and all the spring flowers have come out early. For this trip, I'm also going to be using some external microphones, and I'm really hoping that they're going to help improve the audio quality on the videos. But if it doesn't work out the way I'm hoping, I'll get it right on the next one. So this track that I'm on runs along a ridge line right the way up to the summit of Mount Ida. And out to my left are some stunning views over the surrounding bushland. But they're not going to be anywhere near as good as the ones from the summit. I'm just coming up on the summit now, and aside from the views, there's a couple points of interest that I'd like to show you. So this unusual looking building is a fire lookout, and it was built in 1988 to replace the original wooden tower that stood here from 1947 to 1987 when it burned down in a bushfire. And legend has it that prior to the first tower being built, a person on horseback used to sit up here, and when they spotted a fire, they would ride down to a nearby farmhouse and raise the alarm. The other interesting landmark is this trigonometrical station. And in the days before GPS, these were built in prominent locations so that geodetic surveyors had a fixed reference point to take measurements from and link local maps and surveys together. There's also another trig station on the nearby Mount Sugarloaf, which in a straight line is about 26 kilometres from here. I'm going to leave the fire tower and the trig station behind and make my way to the lookout. And aside from being able to take in some stunning views, I'm hoping to find a really good spot to bivvy for the night. That's an incredible view. I'll turn the camera around so that you guys can have a look as well. It's amazing as well just how much you can see from here. So that town out through there is Heathcote, and I'll be walking through it on day 3. That out there is Mount Alexander, and I've previously done a 2-day hiking and cave camping trip on it. And that great big expanse of water out there is Lake Eppalock. Well, as awesome as those views may be, I need to start looking round and find a spot to bivvy for the night. And ideally, I would like to find somewhere relatively flat and rock-free, which is going to be a challenge. Once I've set up camp, I'm also going to get a billy of water on, because it's coffee time. Well, I've had a pretty good look round, and this is about the best spot to bivvy up here. So everywhere back up by the lookout was just too uneven and rocky. So I also like that there's a little fire pit here. I'll start working on setting up for the night anyway. There's no rain forecast for tonight, so to speed things up, I'm just going to set up my ground sheet. So much rock in the ground here though, that it's almost impossible to get my tent pegs in. I left the bag to inflate my roll mat at home, so I'm having to do it manually, which is really frustrating. Man, I'm starting to feel lightheaded. Oh, I think that should do it. Let's get this coffee happening. I've also managed to finally get hold of a windshield for my Crusader stove. However, the company I ordered this from didn't post to Australia, and if it wasn't for having relatives in the UK, I wouldn't have been able to get it. So if you're watching this, thank you, Aunt Denise. Apparently there is a bit of a trick to getting it on though. Black Crackle Zippo. Well, she's boiling, so let's get this coffee happening. Now that my coffee's ready, I think what I'll do is head back up onto the lookout and sit up there and drink it and watch the sunset. So tonight for dinner, I've got some canned Italian minestrone, and I do have a couple dehydrated meals with me as well, but I want to eat this tonight to try and lighten my pack a bit for tomorrow. Yep, that's hot. Well, I'm going to sit back and eat my dinner, and then once it's dark, I'll turn in for the night. Well, I've hopped in the bivvy bag for the night, and I'm looking forward to getting a good night's rest, because tomorrow is the big day. I've got to walk 12 kilometres to get from here to Devil's Cave. So I'll turn this camera off, and I'll be back with you in the morning. Well, my alarm's gone off, and although I'm quite cosy in here and it's dark and cold out there, I've got to get up, get a brew on and start packing up, because I've got quite a bit of ground that I need to cover today. Gotta love that windshield. Oh no! It's come off the stove and stuck to my cup. That'll be alright. Surprising just how much warmth you get off of a little fire like that. I think a lot of it is because where it's small you can sit right on top of it, whereas when you have a big fire you quite often have to stand back from them. So yesterday I decided not to set up my overhead tarp, and it turned out to be a good thing and a bad thing. The good bit was that I could lay in my bivvy bag and look up at the stars. The bad thing was that although the forecast said otherwise, around 9-10 o'clock it started to rain, so I had to zip it all up. Well, the sun's finally starting to peek over the horizon, so I might turn this torch off. So for my rubbish like my tin cans, what I do is I flatten them and then I'll bag them up sort of once and then twice.
Make sure your man double bags. Last time he didn't double bag.
Gotta make sure you double bag though. Found with this bivvy bag, you don't have to be too particular about rolling it up because there's compression straps on the bag, and even if you roll it up really tight, it won't go any smaller than what those compression straps will do up to. Well, I'm all packed up now, so I'll throw this rucksack on and I'll start making my way over to Viewing Rock Lookout. The view from the lookout is a bit different this morning. Not really much of a view at all. So this track that I'm following down the side of the mountain is incredibly steep, and it's really loose and rocky as well. So I'm having to really watch my footing. It's basically just a goat track, really. Whoa, that was a close one. Doesn't take much to lose your footing. Well, I think that was about the worst of it. It's starting to level out now, which is good. Well, I'm just coming up on Viewing Rock Lookout, and there's meant to be a really good view of Heathcote from here. That's not a bad view. I'll bring the camera up so that you can have a look as well. So all that out through there is Heathcote, and I'll be passing through it tomorrow. And if you look over there, you can just see the Pink Cliffs, and that'll be my final stop on this walk. So seeing as there's a nice bench here, I'm going to sit down and have some lunch and something to drink, and then once I've finished that, I'll push on and do the last couple kilometres to get to Devil's Cave. So I'm just coming up on Devil's Cave and I'm really glad to get here. It's been a pretty decent hike today and the trail has been quite rocky, which makes it pretty hard on your feet. Well, here it is, Devil's Cave, and this is where I'm going to spend the night. So aside from the usual nonsense graffiti like Jono was here, high up on the rock face, someone's chiselled the date 1911, which I thought was kind of interesting. Bloody Jono, eh? That bloke's been everywhere. I'll start setting up for the night anyway. And of course, I've got no choice but to manually inflate my roll mat because I left the inflation sack at home. Well, now that's all set up, I'm going to boil some water so I can make myself a coffee. Now that I've got a hot cup of coffee, I'm going to boil some more water so that I can rehydrate my apple pie. And it's one of those things that my waistline probably doesn't need it, but I would really like it. I think that's ready. Oh no, my cup's stuck in the windshield. Perhaps it's a little bit too good, that windshield. I think that's about right. Long handled titanium spork. Oh, it smells good already. It might also just be that I'm really hungry though. Well, now I've got to wait 10 minutes whilst it warms up.
10 minutes later.
Well, my apple pie's warmed up nicely, so I'm just going to sit back, eat this and enjoy the views. Well, the sun's starting to set and I thought before it gets dark I'll start cooking my dinner. And tonight for dinner I've got spicy Mexican beans, which in a bivvy bag could be a dangerous combination. Well, she's boiling. Oh, windshield's come off.
Again.
It actually smells really nice. And now for the moment of truth. It's not bad. It's certainly spicy. Well, I'm just going to eat this now, enjoy the last hour or so of daylight, and then I'll turn in for the night. Well, I've hopped in the bivvy bag for the night, and tomorrow I've got a nice short 3-kilometre walk ahead of me. I'll leave this cave, pass an old powder magazine, cut through Heathcote and make my way to the Pink Cliffs, which are quite a contrast compared to everywhere else that I've been on this trip. And as this cave is east facing, I'm hoping that tomorrow morning there'll be a really good sunrise as it comes up over the hills, but it might be too cloudy. I'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, I'll turn this camera off and I'll see you first thing in the morning. Well, my alarm's gone off, which means that it's time to get up, make myself a coffee and break camp. Well, the pot's on. Let's go and find a good place to set this camera up so that we can see the sunrise. I'm all packed up now, so I'll throw this pack on and I'll make my way to the powder magazine. And this is the old powder magazine. It was built in 1864 for storing explosives used in mining and roadworks, and it was built just outside of Heathcote to avoid an accidental explosion near a populated area. Unfortunately, the entrance is locked, so I can't give you a tour inside, but what I can do is poke the camera through this window. Let me know in the comments what you can see. There's also a plaque here with a good write-up and some additional information. And an old grain harvester. I'm going to walk through Heathcote now and make my way to the Pink Cliffs. I'm smiling in the video because walking over the bridge reminded me of when I was in the Scouts, and we walked over a bridge like this, and one of the girls ahead of me was screaming her head off because the bridge was bouncing. And what made it so funny was that it was my dad at the back bouncing the bridge. I'm just coming up on the Pink Cliffs now, and compared to the surrounding bushland, they're quite a geological oddity. So these Pink Cliffs are the result of hydraulic sluicing. Between the 1870s and the 1890s, miners used high pressure water jets to blast away the soil and extract the gold. Mining was eventually ceased due to the runoff sludge contaminating the local waterways, and all that remains now is this Badlands style landscape. And if you've enjoyed this video, then please like, subscribe and join the adventure at ARB Overland. Oh, get a good sniffle in there. Capture that on the external mics. So this track that I'm on at the moment runs along the... Excuse me. Looks like someone's come up here and lost the pin out of their shackle. I might keep this because I'm missing a few as well. I can't remember what I was going to say. And the trig station. Why do I keep getting tongue-tied? I left the bag to inflate my roll mat at home, so I'm having to do it manually, which is really frustrating. Man, I'm starting to feel lightheaded. Gotta love that windshield. Oh no! It's come off the stove and stuck to my cup. That'll be alright. I like this pour over coffee filter, but by jingo is it messy. So for my rubbish like my tin cans, what I do is I flatten them and then I'll bag them up. So once, and then twice.
Make sure your man double bags. Last time he didn't double bag.
Gotta make sure you double bag though. So this track that I'm straight into a stick. Whoa, that was a close one. And would you look at that? I've just found another pin from a trailer shackle. Haha, one more for the collection. I hope it was worth it.
Oh yeah, it's worth it. If you're strong enough.
Bloody Jono, eh? That bloke's been everywhere. I think that's ready. Oh no, my cup's stuck in the windshield. Perhaps it's a little bit too good, that windshield. Oh, windshield's come off.
Again.
Come on! Why do you stick to the cup and not the stove? Gotcha. Testing on the little mic, testing on the little mic. Does the little mic work? Let's see if it works. Oh, it's working. Gotta love a good suspension bridge. If I'd been around in the gold rush, I probably would have spent most of my time here in the coffee tent